enduring hardships, the tears of pain I shed today will be the tears of joy I shed tomorrow. I'm Coach mjdtiger, certified life coach and mentor, and we are on this journey together to find peace, passion, and purpose by enduring hardships and not getting knocked down and staying there, but to rise and to be more than we were the moment before and to grow in the next moment. And we can do that by focusing on our self-love, self-respect, self-control, and to bravely and boldly embrace who we are unconditionally. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall. Learn, laugh, and level up. How are you feeling? How are you feeling in your mind? How are you feeling in your body? How are you feeling in your heart? How are you feeling in your soul? Taking a moment each day to think in silence and to address each of these areas is a daily healthy practice that will lead you to your passion and your purpose and to balance you out every single day. When we ask ourselves through mind, body, heart, and soul how we are feeling, we get the answers we need and we know we need to focus on. How are you feeling? Trust yourself. Trust that you have it within you to get through the next moment. Trust that whatever is beyond your control, whatever is beyond the reach and the scale of where your mind, your body, your heart, and your soul can endure in this moment, trust that what's beyond you doesn't matter. What's behind you doesn't matter. What matters is this moment. Trust that you are strong enough to endure the next moment, the next obstacle, the next test, the next mountain, the next volcano. Trust yourself that you are making the right decisions and that you will stand tall and bravely and boldly endure the consequences of those decisions. Trust yourself that you are more than what your limited beliefs are telling you. Trust yourself that you are capable of being in a loving, healthy, non-toxic relationship. Trust yourself that you are everything you know you were born to be. Trust yourself that you will go further than you ever imagined through discipline, self-love, and self-control. You are here now. Trust yourself. Wheat Horizons, Episode 2, Feeling with True Empathy. Putting yourself in someone else's shoes can be one of the hardest things you can do in life, or it can be one of the easiest things you can do in life. Now let's take it in both parts. Why would it be hard to do in life? What would make putting yourself in someone else's shoes difficult? Well, first, in order to do anything in life, before we even get to someone else, we have to experience something in life. We have to experience enough in life where we can actually even have a commentary or an opinion to form about any particular subject, which is why, the older you get, the wiser you get, the more respect you get from people if you are doing things that are respectful. But it's kind of established, the older you get, even if you're not trying, you gather wisdom through experience. Through wisdom also comes knowledge. With knowledge comes observation. It's knowledge. The gaining of knowledge almost forces you to look at the world differently. The more you know about everything, every person, every place around you, even in the general sense, the easier it is to understand. So why is it some people have such a hard time putting themselves in other people's shoes? Why is empathy so difficult for certain people? And we'll talk about why it can and should be easier. But we'll focus on this negative aspect of, and some may say it's not negative, but to each his own. I mean, if and again, we'll get into that. It can be a negative. But we're looking at the negative aspect of, is there an attempt to want to understand others and to truly be able to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to really feel them emotionally on a complete deep level, other than just a surface level? That's, if you're talking about family members, friends, and relationships, those are different types of situations where putting yourself in a family member's shoes is far easier than putting yourself in a stranger's shoes or somebody you know from work or church. If you don't know someone very well, it's kind of hard to put yourself in their shoes. But even in that sense, it depends on what they're going through. If someone is going through something that you can identify with and you align with, it's very easy to do it. You don't have to know anything about them. The experience that they went through alone is enough for you to say, I empathize with you. I can feel what you're feeling emotionally. And I care. There's the difference right there. It's not that we put ourselves in other people's shoes. It's, what do we feel when we put ourselves in those other people's shoes? Are we even capable of doing it? And if we're not, are we capable of understanding that we have to be respectful about things that we have no knowledge of? It's very easy to tell people, hey, why don't you do this, if you've never done it before? It's real easy to talk, but can you walk the talk? Can you actually move and do exactly what you're telling someone else that they can't do? And the reason why this is important, feeling with true empathy, is important because in order to want to have people in your life, again, we can walk a trek, a path, a journey on our own. Odds are you're never going to walk alone completely for the rest of your life. Someone is going to have to interact with you. You're going to be forced to have to interact with people. You're going to be forced to either want to trust people or eliminate everyone and just be a recluse and be by yourself. In order to understand people, in order to get that full emotional connection, empathy has to be involved in some way, shape, or form. And it goes back to almost that golden rule, which almost every single religion in this world has a form of the golden rule. It's one of the most common rules that transcends every religion, even Tao, which is what I follow. Every spiritual practice, every spiritual endeavor that we can take on goes back to that. Do unto others as you will have others do unto you. And that rule is extremely important. It's probably the first rule that stuck in my head when I grew up as a little kid who had to go to Sunday school every Sunday. And I used to not pay attention. But for some reason, that rule always stuck out to me. And I'm saying it for some reason, but I can remember now why that is. My mother had this wooden plaque, and she still has it in her house today. And it had the golden rule on it. And I used to just stand there and look at it and try to figure out what that meant when I was a kid. I remember looking at that plaque. I can see it vividly in my mind right now. And I can go see it anytime I want because my mother still has it. But it's a very beautiful plaque. And if she ever passes away, I'm definitely going to keep it. And it's going to be put up on my wall in my home because I loved it's the golden rule is one of the things that I think if used properly, it just means empathy. At its core, the golden rule is all about empathy. It's about understanding what someone else is going through. And you have some people that say, well, if we're so focused on these people, how can we deal with ourselves? But that's the point. Empathy, at its highest form that works best, comes from you understanding who you are first. It's kind of hard to have empathy when you're at turmoil with yourself. If you're at war with yourself, if you're at conflict and chaos within yourself, you're not worried about other people. So it really doesn't matter if you have empathy with anyone else because you should be focusing on what you need to get done. But let's just say you are working on things and you are light enough to say someone comes to you and they have an issue. You're not going to assume anything about this person. You're not going to judge them. You're not going to unfairly give them your unsolicited advice. You're going to empathize. For me, empathizing means listen. Listen to understand. You don't need to speak. You just need to listen. What happens after that, as far as what comes after you, is really not your problem. You've done your part. You've listened and you've tried to understand the best you can. Understanding doesn't always mean agreement. And this is what goes back for me with empathy. One of the things I love about empathy is it allows me to put myself in other people's shoes. So it allows me to embrace the experiences of other people, especially the ones that are experiencing things that I've never experienced before. It is not anyone's right to be able to walk up to another individual and tell them, hey, how was your day? I had a hard day today. No, you didn't. The person says, why would you say that? I mean, typically, it wasn't the hardest day I've ever had, but it was a pretty hard day today. No, it's pretty freaking easy. Well, how do you know? You never done this job before. Well, I'm just telling you, I think it's easier. I've seen other people work and they, and it's the same way with school. It's the same way with religious practices. People think you're not religious enough. There's other people who think, if you have a hobby, that hobby, you should be making a living off of it. So you're wasting your time if you're not making money. People have opinions. People have judgments. Feeling with true empathy, you don't have judgments. You don't have opinions. You're just listening to understand. And you're learning from this person. If we quiet our brains and we listen and we take in what somebody else experienced, we are experiencing it. If we're trying to truly understand a person, we are learning. We are growing from somebody else's experience, even if we haven't done it before. Because there's lessons to be learned there. Someone's telling you a truth about their life. And if we throw in the judge card, and we throw in the opinion card, and we throw in the assumption card, and we throw in the disrespect card, and we throw in the devaluing card, how is this person going to receive you? They may finish the conversation, but they won't be looking forward to talking to you again. No one likes to be talked down to. No one wants to be judged, devalued. How do we know this? Because that's exactly what each of us don't want. Feeling with true empathy is just that. We will treat other people the way we would want everyone to treat ourselves. We want people to treat us how we treat ourselves. And there's the trick. If we're unhappy with ourselves and we don't treat ourselves well, and we don't have self-love and self-respect for ourselves and self-control, and we're assuming things about our own selves and we're devaluing ourselves, we're automatically going to assume that every person we talk to must think the same way that we do. These are the limited beliefs and stories we tell ourselves in our minds when we're at our lowest moments. We counteract that by projection. We project on to other people what we're feeling inside because we need to be aligned. The human condition, we seek to be aligned with people who are like us. But what if no one around you is like you? And you have coldness in your heart, or you're going through a depression, or you're having family issues, or you're not feeling well. You're financially unstable. There could be all kinds of things that's going on, but there's a choice to be made. You could take all that negativity and darkness and things that are not going right in your life, and you can put it to a good use. And the best use you can do for that is trying to make it a focal point to fix the things that A, will serve you better if you focus on them, but B, the people around you are going to accept more of you if you are accepting more of yourself. If you're shortchanging yourself and telling someone else they need to rise, how does that make any sense? If you're telling someone that they are not a hard worker when you've never done what they've done, how is that person going to receive you? And there's like the people who want to tell other people how to parent their kids. And you ask them, well, how do you parent your kids? I don't have any kids, but I have brothers and sisters. It's not the same thing. You have to have your children. It's the same thing at work. Somebody gets a raise. How come he got a raise? How come she got a raise? Then the boss tell them, well, are you doing this, this, and this? Because that's what they're doing. No. Well, then that's why you didn't get the raise. Action, reaction, cause, and effect. As the Merovingian said in The Matrix. Every action has a reaction. Every cause has an effect. If we judge someone, or devalue someone, or disrespect someone, or assume something about someone, talk down to someone, it is very easy to believe that you're doing that eternally to yourself. It's very simple and easy to believe that you're probably not at all at peace with yourself, that you're at war. There's chaos within you. And I have found, because I can talk about this because I have found that over the years, that is exactly what I was doing for years. And I'm talking going way back. I'm 42 now. Going all the way back to when I was in high school and in college. I was that person. I judged everyone because I was judging myself. I assumed about everyone because I assumed things about myself. I believed people couldn't because I couldn't. I devalue people because I devalue myself. That cycle will keep going on and on and on. And the regrets build up, the guilt builds up, and you start feeling like a failure because you start looking around and you're saying, I got a bunch of people around me, but I don't align with any of these people. How and why is this happening? Had nothing to do with the people, had everything to do with me. I didn't like who I was, so therefore my circle was a bunch of people who didn't like who they were either. I didn't like them, and they didn't like me. How toxic is that? And I realized this, and I wanted better for my life, and I did. I ended up going a different path than them, and ended up meeting who would be my wife, had my kid, and over time, life happens, and you find yourself in another spot and you say, okay, more adjustments have to be made. But I don't like who I am inside. So I need to change something. Because I can tell by the people around me that something isn't right. Because this person is not bringing me joy. This person's not bringing me joy. But wait, they aren't supposed to be bringing me joy. I'm supposed to be bringing me joy. Once I figured that out, it was like a light bulb went off. I don't have who I have around me because of what I'm doing. I am the common denominator. It doesn't matter if somebody else is emotionally screwed up. It doesn't matter if somebody else is going through PTSD or they have traumas or whatever issues they have in their life. That's not my problem. My problem is my problem. Their problem is their problem. However, their problem can teach me more about my problems, and my problems can teach them more about their problems. That is why empathy is so damn important, because it's not just about learning how someone else operates and making adjustments and saying, I understand you. It's also about, hey, why are you feeling this way? I need to understand this because I want to understand you better. And the more I understand you better, I understand myself better. It's one of the reasons why I follow Tao. That's what it's all about. I want you to be the best you can be because I'm trying to be the best I can be. And if we both can share those experiences together and we're both growing, even after all the things that happen to us in our lives and we're still here trying to grow, how beautiful is that? That is beautiful. When you work on yourself to the point where you have something to offer and you offer yourself as someone who can listen, observe, be patient and understanding, and have true empathy unconditionally for someone that you respect and you love and you feel are a part of your life. And that can be applied to places and things as well. The more confident we are within ourselves, the more confident we are about who we are and what we have to offer, that makes being an empath that much easier. Because we don't have to worry about someone else making us feel good. We don't have to worry about someone else being our emotional, magnet. We can do these things on our own, and everything else outside of that are just bonuses, but they are not requirements. They are bonuses. The true work, the true income comes from the self, you. The bonus are the other people. They're a bonus because they're not something that is a given. You have to earn it. We have to earn the right to even be in the presence of someone, to even be empathetic with them, let alone not be unempathetic with these people and forcing our way into their lives by being a false version of who we really are. That's deception. If there are things about ourselves that we know that need to be worked on, it's one thing for you not to know what needs to be worked on. You stumble upon it through a series of situations and things that happen in life. Life happens, and we figure out the hard way, oh wow, I really need to work on this. I had no idea I was like this in this particular area of my life. I really need to change something about that. But then there's other things that happen in life where we are fully aware that there are things we need to work on and we don't do it. Why? Because we're being enabled by people who haven't figured themselves out just quite yet. They aren't always the happiest people. They aren't always the most enthusiastic, motivational people. They tend to be more on the toxic side, full of drama, accusing, assuming, devaluing, overstepping boundaries, abandoning, ignoring, lying, cheating. These are traits of individuals who we all are around a lot. It's just they don't walk around with a sign. But if you dig deep enough into some of these situations, you'll find out people really aren't who they say they are. And there's really nothing we can do about that. All we can do is cover our bases as an individual, which is why, again, I like empathy for this reason. It allows me to be able to step in the shoes of someone else and completely understand unconditionally. I can listen to them, I can learn, and it gives me a good basis because I know through my boundaries and my morals and my principles, I don't have to be in their shoes long to get a good amount of information to let me know what type of person this actually is, and are they going to have a place in my life, and am I going to have a place in their life? They may not be feeling me. But with empathy, I can do something that is different from a lot of people, because a lot of people don't do this. And that's just be quiet, listen to understand without judgment. Interact with people without an outcome already in your mind. Be able to take constructive criticism without taking it personally. Be able to have a different point of view than someone else and not take it personally. To try to understand another individual fully without judgment, assumptions, betrayals, and any interaction we have with someone. What is the outcome? What is the point of interacting with anyone? It's a give and take. You're locked in conversation with someone. It's kind of hard for a person to have a conversation with someone who's not really locked into the conversation or detached from it. I choose, when people do that, I choose to just be silent and I just won't talk to you. Because these are the same people, when they want to talk, they want your undivided attention. And that's not empathy. That's selfishness. That's ignorance. It's disrespectful. Feeling with true empathy is important because we don't know who we're going to meet on our path. And I bring this one up in the valley, in my metaphor of the valley, because once we go through things like the mountain and the volcano analogy there, when I say you go through a trek and you have this time where you can kind of just kick back and think about everything that's happened to you, and you go through a period of time where it just seems like it got really heavy and a lot of things happened. You just kind of need to press the reset button. But before you press that button, we have to identify what happened and how much of it was me versus everything else around me, because it's real easy to play the blame game. But feeling with empathy, once you start walking again, once you get all the knowledge, you say, okay, that was a common denominator here. I could have done better over here. I shouldn't have said that. Now I got a fresh start. Remember, dawn of new beginnings is in each moment. So now you can move forward. And then once you start moving forward, there's a chance you're going to meet new people. There's a chance you're going to get new opportunities in different places and acquire new things. But let's focus on the people. Without empathy, when you meet these people, what is the outcome? What is the outcome of any conversation? Conversations are about gaining something. Even if it's laughter, even if it's tears, there should be something coming out of every conversation. And you can't have a conversation with someone or a group of people who aren't interested in what you have to say, but want to make it very loud and clear that you should be very interested in what they have to say. That's not empathy. That's narcissism. And empathy, with empathy, the obligation is to be more of yourself so we can show up and be more for the people around us. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall. Learn, laugh, and level up.